Anders gaan we gewoon daar zitten. Oh ja, nee, dat gaan we gewoon. En daarachter nog een lekker? Ja, dat is lekker. Ja, nee.
Zijn.
Ja, oh, hier zit stoelen.
Adriana, come on, sit down. You're sitting. Are you sitting? Ja, beter gaan we achter.
Net bij de kerstmis, dat is wel heel veel.
Deze opzet? Oké.
Zij die optimist.
Ja, dat is wel leuk.
Bring your own bottle.
When shall we three meet again? In thunder, lightning, or in rain?
When the hurly-burly's done,
When the battle's lost and won,
that will be
ere the set of sun,
where the play upon the heath.
there to meet with Macbeth.
I come, grey mountain, as it calls anon.
Fair is foul, and
Fair is foul, and
fair
fair
is
is
foul,
foul,
and
fair is foul, and
fair
fair
is
is
foul,
foul,
and foul
through
is
the
fair.
fog.
Fair is foul, and foul is fair. Hover through the fog and filthy air.
What bloody man is that? He can report, and seemeth by his flight, of the revolt, the new estate.
This is the sergeant, who like a good and hardy soldier fought against my captivity. Hail, brave friend! Say to the king the knowledge of the broil as thou didst leave it.
Doubtful it stood, as two spent swimmers that do cling together and choke their earth. The merciless MacDonald, worthy to be a rebel, for to that the multiplying villainies of nature do swarm upon him. From the western isles of kerns and gallaglasses his supply. And fortune on his downward quarrel smiling showed like a rebel's whore. But all's too weak. For brave Macbeth, well he deserves that name, disdaining fortune with his brandished steel which smoked with bloody execution, like Valor's minion carved out his passage till he faced the slave, which ne'er shook hands nor bade farewell to him till he unseamed him from the nave to the chaps, and fixed his head upon our battlements.
Valiant cousin, worthy gentleman!
As whence the sun gins his reflection, shipwrecking storms and direful thunders. So from that spring whence comfort seemed to come, discomfort swells. Mark, King of Scotland, mark, no sooner justice had with valour arms compelled these skipping kerns to trust their heels for the Norwegian lord, surveying vantage, with furnished arms and new supplies of men began a fresh assault.
Dismayed there's not our captains, Macbeth and Banquo.
Yes, as sparrows, eagles, or hares the lion, if I say sooth, I must report they were as cannons overcharged with double crack, so they doubly redoubled strokes upon the foe, except they meant to bathe in reeking wounds or memorize another Golgotha, I cannot tell, but I am faint, and my gashes cry for help.
So well thy words become thee as these wounds, they smack upon a both. Go, get him surgeons. Who comes here?
The worthy Thane of Fife.
A haste looks to his eyes, as so he should look, but seems to speak things strange.
God save the king.
Whence camest thou, worthy Thane?
From Fife, great king, where Norwegian banners flout the sky and fan our people cold. Norway himself, with terrible numbers, assisted by that disloyal traitor, the Thane of Cawdor, began a dismal conflict, till that Belena's bridegroom, lapped in proof, confronted him with self-comparisons, point gainst point, rebellious arm gainst arm, curbing his lavish spirit. And to conclude, the victory fell on us.
Great happiness!
That now Sweno, the Norway's king, craves composition, and nor would we deign him burial of his men, till he disperse it at St. Column's Inch, $10,000 to our general use.
No more that Thane of Cawdor shall deceive our bosom interest. Go, pronounce his death, and with his former title greet Macbeth.
I'll see it done.
What he hath lost, noble Macbeth hath won.
Where hast thou been, sister?
Killing swine.
Sister, where thou? The sailor's wife has chestnuts in her lap, and munched and munched and munched. Give me, quoth I, a roint thee which the rump-fed runyon cry. Her husband's to Aleppo gone, master of the Tyre. But in a sieve I'll bid a sail, and like a rat without a tail, I'll do, and I'll do.
I'll give you a win.
Thou art kind.
And I another. The weird sisters.
Hand in hand, posters of the sea and land, thus do go about,
Thrice to thine.
thrice to mine,
And thrice again
to make up 9.
peace. The charms wound up.
So foul and fair a girl I have not seen.
How far is called to forest? What are these? So withered and so wild in their attire that look not like the habitants of the earth and yet are on. Live you, or are you aught that man may question? You seem to understand me. I each once had shotty finger laying on her skinny lips. You should be women, and yet your beards forbid me to interpret that you are so.
Well, speak, if you can. What are you?
All hail Macbeth. Hail to thee, Thane of Glar.
All hail Macbeth. Hail to thee, Thane of Cawdor.
All hail Macbeth, that shalt be king hereafter.
So do you start and seem to fear things that do sound so fair? In the name of truth, are ye fantastical? Or that indeed which outwardly ye show? Or my noble partner, we with present grace and great prediction of noble having and of royal hope, that he seems rapt withal. To me you speak not? If you can look into the seeds of time and say which grain will grow and which will not, speak then to me, who neither beg nor fear your favours, nor your hate.
Hail,
Hail, hail.
lesser than Macbeth.
yet great, not so happy, and yet much happier.
Thou shalt get kings, though thou be none. So all hail, Macbeth and Banquo.
Banquo and Macbeth, all hail.
Well, stay! You imperfect speakers. Well, tell me more. By Final's death I know I am Thane of Glamis, but how of Cawdor? The Thane of Cawdor lives, a prosperous gentleman. And to be king stands not within the prospect of belief, no more than to be Cawdor. Say, from whence you owe this strange intelligence? Or why upon this blasted heath you stop our way with such prophetic greeting? Well, speak, I charge you!
Whither the earth hath bubbles as the water has. Whither are they vanished?
Into the air. And what seems corporal melted is breath into the wind. Would they it stay?
Such things here as we do speak about, or have we eaten of the insane root that takes reason prisoner?
Your children shall be kings,
You shall be king.
and Thane of Cawdor too, was it not so?
Yea, to the same tune and words. Who's that?
The king hath happily received, Macbeth, the news of thy success. And when he reads thy personal ventures and the rebels' sights, his wonders and praises do contend which should be thine or his. Silence with that. And you know the rest of the self-same day he finds thee in the stout Norwegian ranks, nothing afeard of what thyself didst make, strange images of death. A stick as tale came post with post, and everyone did bear thy praises in his kingdom's great defence, and poured them down before him.
We assent to give thee from our royal master thanks, only to herald thee into his sight, not pay thee.
And for an earnest of great honour, he bade me from him call thee Thane of Cawdor, in which addition, hail, most worthy Thane, for it is thine.
What, can the devil speak true?
The Thane of Cawdor lives. Why do you dress me in borrowed robes?
Who was the Thane lives yet, but under heavy judgment bears that life which he deserves to lose. Whether he was lined with those of Norway, or did with hidden help and vantage line the rebels, I know not, but with both he laboured in his country's wrath. But treason's capital confessed and proved have overthrown him.
Glamis and Thane of Cawdor. The greatest is behind. Thanks for your pains. And do you not hope that your children shall be kings, when those that gave the Thane of Cawdor to me promised no less to them?
That trusted hope might yet enkindle you unto the crown besides the Thane of Cawdor. But it is strange, and oftentimes to win us to our harm, the instruments of darkness tell us truths, win us with honest trifles to betray us in deepest consequence. Cousins, a word, I pray you.
Two truths are told, as happy prologue to the swelling act of the imperial deed. I thank you, gentlemen. This supernatural soliciting cannot be ill. It cannot be good. If ill, why hath it given me earnest of success, commencing in a truth? I am Thane of Cawdor. If good, why do I yield to that suggestion whose horrid image doth unfix my hair, and make my seated heart knock at my ribs against the use of nature? Present fears are less than horrible imaginings. My thought is murder, yet is but fantastical, shakes so my single state of man that function is smothered in surmise, and nothing is but what is not.
Look how our partner's wrapped.
If chance will have me king, why? Chance may crown me without my stir.
New honours have come upon him, like our strange garments cleave not to their mould, but with the aid of use.
Come what come may, time and the hour runs through the roughest day.
Worthy Macbeth, we wait upon your leisure.
Give me your favour, for my dull brain was wrought with things forgotten. Kind gentlemen, your pains are registered where every day I turn the leaf to read. Let us toward the king. Think on what hath chanced, and at more time, the interim having waited, let us speak our free hearts.
Yeah, very gladly.
Till then, come, friend.
execution done on Cawdor? Or not those in commission yet returned?
My liege, they are not yet come back. But I have spoke with one that saw him die, who did report that very frankly he confessed his treasons, implored your highness pardon, and set forth a deep repentance. Nothing in his life became him like the leaving it. He died as one that had been studied in his death, to throw away the dearest thing he owed as 'twere a careless trifle.
There's no art to find the mind's construction in the face. He was a gentleman on whom I built an absolute trust. Oh, worthiest cousin, the sin of my ingratitude was heavy on me. Thou art so far before, that swiftest wing of recompense is slow to overtake thee. Wouldst thou hadst less deserve, that the proportion both of thanks and payment might have been mine. Only I have left to say, more is thy due than more than all can pay.
The service and loyalty I owe in doing it pays itself. Your highness part is to receive our duties, and our duties are to your throne and state, children and servants, which do but what they should by doing everything safe towards your love and honour.
Welcome hither. I have begun to plant thee, and will labour to make thee full of growing. Noble Banquo, thou hast no less deserved, nor must be known no less to have done so. Let me enfold thee, and hold thee to my heart.
Oh, there if I grow, the harvest is your own.
Ah, my plenteous joys, wanted in fullness, seek to hide themselves in drops of sorrow. Sons, kinsmen, thanes, and you whose places are nearest, no? We will establish our estates upon our eldest, Malcolm, whom we name hereafter the Prince of Cumberland, which honour must not accompanied invest him only, but sings of nobleness like stars shall shine on all deservers. From hence to Inverness, and bind us further to you.
The rest is labour which is not used for you. I'll be myself the harbinger, and make joyful the hearing of my wife with your approach. So humbly take my leave.
My worthy Cawdor.
The Prince of Cumberland. That is a step on which I must fall down. Or else o'erleap, for in my way it lies. Start. Hide your fire. Let not light see my black and deep desires. The eye wink at the hand. Yet let that be which the eye fears when it is done to see.
They met me in the day of success, and I have learned by the perfectest reports that they have more in them than mortal knowledge. When I burned in desire to question them further, they made themselves air, into which they vanished. Whilst I stood wrapped in the wonder of it, came missives from the king, who all hailed me Thane of Cawdor, by which title these weird sisters referred to me and saluted me with the coming on of time, with "Hail, King that shalt be." This have I thought good to deliver thee, my dearest partner in greatness, that thou mightst not lose the dues of rejoicing by being ignorant of what greatness is promised thee. Lay to thy heart and farewell. Glance thou art, and Cawdor, and shalt be what thou art promised. Yet I do fear thy nature. 'Tis too full of the milk of human kindness to catch the nearest way. Thou wouldst be great, art not without ambition, but without the illness should attend it. What thou wouldst highly, thou wouldst holily. Thou'st not play false, and yet wouldst wrongly win. Thou'st have great glance, that which cries, thus thou must do if thou have it. Rather that which thou dost fear to do than which should be undone. Hie thee hither, that I may pour my spirits in thine ear and chastise thee with the valour of my tongue, all that impedes thee from the golden round, which fate and metaphysical aid doth seem to have thee crowned withal. What is your tidings?
The king comes here tonight.
Thou art mad to say it. Is not thy master with him, who wert so would have informed for preparation?
So please you, it is true. Our Thane is coming. One of my fellows had this message, which scarcely dead for breath.
He is intending. thoughts unsex me here, and fill me from the crown to the toe top full of direst cruelty. Make thick my blood. Stop up the access and passage to remorse, that no compunctious visitings of nature shake my fell purpose, nor keep peace between the effect and it. Come to my woman's breasts and take my milk for gold, you murdering ministers, wherever in your sightless substances you wait on nature's mischief. Come, thick night, and pull thee in the dunnest smoke of hell, that my keen knife see not the wound it makes, nor heaven peep through the blanket of the dark to cry, hold, hold. Glance. Worthy Cordor, greater than both thy all hail them. Thy letters have transported me beyond this ignorant present, and I feel now the future in an instant.
My dearest love, Duncan comes here tonight.
Hence.
Tomorrow, as he purposes.
Never shall sun that nor see. Your face, my name, is as a book where men may read strange matters. To beguile the time, look like the time. By welcoming thine eyes, thy hand, thy tongue. Look like the innocent flower that be the serpent under it. He that's coming must be provided for, and you shall put this night's great business into my dispatch, which shall to all our nights and days to come give solely sovereign sway and master of
We will speak further.
Only look at Clea. To alter favour ever is to fear, leave all the rest to me.
See our honoured hostess. The love that follows us sometimes our trouble, which still we thank as love. Herein I shall teach you how you shall bid God yield us for your pains, and thank us for your trouble.
All our service, in every point twice done, and then done double, were poor and single business to contend against those honoured deep and broad wherewith your majesty loads our house. To those of old, and the late dignities heaped up to them, we rest your highness.
Where's the Thane of Cawdor? We course him at the heels, and had purpose to be his purveyor. But he rides well, and his great love, sharp as his spur, hath hauled him to his home before us. Fair and noble hostess, we are your guests tonight.
Your servants ever have theirs themselves and what is theirs in count, to make their audit at your highness' pleasure, still to return to their own.
Give me your hand. Conduct me to mine host. We love him highly, and shall continue our graces towards him. By your leave, hostess.
Well done quickly. If the assassination could trammel up the consequence and catch, with his success, but this blow might be the be-all and the end-all. Here, upon this bank and shoal of time, we jump the life to come. In these cases, we still have judgment here, that we but teach bloody instructions, which, being taught, return to plague the inventor. This even-handed justice commends the ingredients of our poisoned chalice to our own lips. He's here in double trust. First, as I am his kinsman and his subject, strong both against the deed. Then as his host, who should against his murderer, shut the door. Not bear the knife myself. Besides, this Duncan hath borne his faculties so meek, hath been so clear in his great office, that his virtues will plead like angels, trumpet-tongued, against the deep damnation of his taking off. And pity, like a naked newborn babe striding the blast, or heaven's cherubim horsed upon the sightless couriers of the air, will blow the horrid deed in every eye, that tears shall drown the wind. I have no spur to prick the sides of my tail, but only vaulting ambition, which o'erleaps itself and falls on the other. How now? What news?
He hath almost supped. Why have you left the chamber?
Hath he asked for me?
Know you not he has?
We will proceed no further in this business. He hath honoured me of late, and I have bought golden opinions from all sorts of people, which would be worn now in their newest gloss, not cast aside so soon.
Was the hope drunk wherein you dressed yourself? Hath it slept since? And wakes it now to look so green and pale at what it did so freely? From this time, such I account thy love. Art thou afeard to be the same in thine own act and valour as thou art in desire? Wouldst thou have that which thou esteemest the ornament of life, and live a coward in thine own esteem, letting I dare not wait upon I would, like the poor cat of the
Thou prithee, peace! I dare do all that may become a man. Who dares do more is none.
What beast was then that made you break this enterprise to me? When you durst do it, then you were a man. And to be more than what you were, you would be so much more a man. Nor time nor place did then adhere, and that thou would make both. They have made themselves, and that their fitness now does unmake you. I have given suck, and know how tender 'tis to love the babe that milks me. I would, while it was smiling in my face, have plucked my nipple from its boneless gums and dashed the brains out, had I so sworn as you have done to this.
If we should fail.
We fail. But screw your courage to the sticking place, and you will not fail. When Duncan is whereto the rather shall this hard day's journey soundly invite him, his two chamberlains will I with wine and wassail so convince that memory, the water of the brain, shall be a few, and the receipt of reason a limbic aim. When in swinish swoop that drenched nature rises in death, what cannot you or I perform upon the unguarded Duncan? What not put upon his spongy offices, who shall bear the guilt of our great crime?
Bring forth men, children only, for thy undaunted mettle should compose nothing but men. Will it not be received? When we have marked with blood those sleepy two of his own chamber, and used their very daggers they have done.
Care just leave it to them, as we shall make our grief and clamours roar upon his death.
I am settled, and bend up each corporal agents to this terrible feat. Away, and mock the time with fairest show. False face must hide what the false heart doth know.
How goes the night, boy?
The moon is down. I have not heard the clock.
She goes down at 12. strain in me the cursed thoughts that nature gives way to in repose. Who's there? Who's there?
Friend.
What, sir, not yet at rest? The king's abed. He hath been an unusual pleasure and sent forth great largesse to your offices. This diamond brooch he greets your wife withal, by the name of most kind hostess, shut up in measureless content.
Being unprepared, our will became the servants to defect, which else should free have wrought.
All's well. I dreamed last night of the 3 weird sisters. Do you there have shown some truth?
I think none of them. Yet, when we entreat an hour to serve, we would spend it in some words upon that business, if you would grant the time.
At your kindest leisure.
If you shall cleave to my consent, when 'tis, it shall make honour for you.
So I lose none in seeking to augment it, and keep my bosom clear and my allegiance franchised, I shall be counselled.
And repose the while.
I, sir, the like to you.
Go with thy mistress. When my drink is ready, she strike upon the bell. Get thee to bed.
Dagger, which I see before me, the handle towards my hand. Come, let me touch thee. I have thee not, and yet I see thee still. Art thou not fatal vision, sensible to feeling as to sight? Or art thou but a dagger of the mind, a false creation proceeding from the heat oppressive brain? I see thee in form as palpable as this which now I draw. Thou marshalst me the way that I was going, and such an instrument I was to use. Mine eyes are made the fools of me, the senses, or else worth all the rest. I see thee still, and on thy blade and dudgeon gouts of blood which was not so before. There's no such thing. It is the bloody business which informs thus to mine eyes. Now, o'er the 1/2 world, nature seems dead, and wicked dreams abuse the curtain slip. Witchcraft Selamites, pale Hecate's offerings, withered murder, alarmed by his sentinel, the wolf whose howls his watch. Thus, with his stealthy pace, with Tarquin's ravishing strides, towards his design moves like a goat. Thou, sure and firm said her, hear not my steps, which way they walk, for fear thy very stones prate of my whereabout, and take the present horror from the time which now suits with it. While thy threat, he lives. Words to the heat of deeds too cold breath do. I go, and it is done. The bell invites me. Hear it not, Duncan, for it is a knell, summons thee to heaven or to hell.
That which hath made them drunk hath made me bold. That which hath quenched them hath given me fire. It was the owl which shrieked, the fatal bellman which gives the serfs good night. He is about it. The doors are open, and the servitor grooms do mock their charge with snores. I've drugged their posits, that death and nature do contend about them whether they live or die.
Who's there?
I'm afraid the ever wait, it is not done. The attempt and not the deed confounds us. Hark! I laid their daggers ready, he could not miss them. I did not resemble my father as he slept, I have done it. My husband.
I have done the deed. Didst thou not hear a noise?
I heard the owl screaming, the crickets cry, do not speak. Now,
As I just said.
I.
Who lies in the second chamber?
Malcolm,
Oh, this is a sorry sight.
what foolish thought to say a sorry sight.
There's one did laughings, one cried murder. They did wake each other. I stood and heard them, but they did say their prayers and addressed them again to see.
They were two lodged together.
One cried, God bless us, and Amen of the other, as they had seen me with these hangman's hands listening their fear.
Consider it not so deeply.
Wherefore could I not pronounce Amen? I am most need blessing them. Amen stuck in my throat.
These deeds must not be thought of after these ways, so it will make us mad.
Methought I heard a voice cry, sleep no more. Macbeth doth murder sleep. The innocent sleep. Sleep, and knits up the ravelled sleeve of care. The death of each day's life, sore labour's bath, balm of hurt minds, great nature's second course, chief nourisher in life's feast. Still it cried, sleep no more to all the house. Lambs have murdered sleep, and therefore Cawdor shall sleep no more, Macbeth shall sleep no more.
Who was it that thus cried? Why, worthy thing, you do unbend your noble mind to think so brimsickly of things. Go, get some water and wash this filthy witness from your hand. Why did you bring these daggers from the place? They must lie there. Go, carry them, and smear the sleepy grooms with blood.
Don't go no more. I'm afraid to think that. I'll look on again, I dare not.
Infirm of purpose. Give me the daggers. The sleeping and the dead are as but pictures. 'Tis the eye of childhood that fears a painted devil. If ye do bleed, I'll gild the faces of the grooms withal, for it must seem their guilt.
Whence is that knocking? How is it with me when every noise appalls me? What hands are here? They pluck out mine eyes. Will all great Neptune's ocean wash this blood clean from my hand? This my hand will rather the multitudinous seas in Carnadine making the green one red.
My hands are of your colour, but I'm ashamed to wear a heart so white. Look. I hear a knocking at the south entry. Retire to watch. A little water clears us of this deed. How easy it is then. Your constancy have left you unattended. Oh. Get on your nightgown, lest occasion calls and shows to you watches. Be not so poorly in your thoughts.
To know my deed, best not know myself. Wake Duncan with thy knocking. I would thou couldst.
Here's a knocking indeed. If a man were porter of Hellgate, he would have all turning the key. Knock, knock. Who's there? In the name of the Elves. Here's a farmer that hanged himself on the expectation of plenty. Come in time. Have napkins enough about you. Here you'll sweat for it. Knock, knock. Who's there? In the other devil's name. Hey, here's an equivocator who could swear in both the scales against either scale. Commits treason enough for gossip, and yet could not equivocate to heaven. Oh, come in, equivocator. Knock, knock. Who's there? Hey, here's an English tailor come hither for stealing out of a French hose. Come in, tailor. Here may you roast your goose. Knock, knock. Never at quiet. What are you? But this place is too cold for hell. I'll devil porter it no further. I had thought to have let in some of every profession that goes the primrose way to the everlasting bonfire. Anon! Anon! I pray you, remember the porter.
Was it so late ere you went to bed that you do lie so late?
Faith, sir, we were carousing until the second cock. And drink, sir, is a great provoker of three things.
What three things does drink especially provoke?
Married, sir, nose painting, sleep, and urine. Lecturing, sir, it provokes and unprovokes. Provokes the desire, but it takes away the performance. Therefore, much drink may be said to be an equivocator with lecturing. It makes him and it mars him, it sets him on and it takes him off. It makes him stand to and not stand to. Therefore, in conclusion, equivocates him in sleep and giving him the lie, leaves him.
I believe drink gave thee the lie last night.
That it did, sir. It avenged the weight on me. But I requited it for his lie, and I think being too strong for him, though he took up our legs sometime, yet I'm in shit to cast him.
Is thy master stirring? Thy knocking is awakened, and here he comes.
Good morrow, noble sir.
Good morrow both.
Is the king stirring, worthy thane?
Not yet.
He did command me to call timely on him. I have almost slipped the hour.
I'll bring you to him.
I know this is a joyful trouble to you, but yet 'tis one.
For labour we delight in physics pain. Well, this is the door.
I'll make so bold to call, for 'tis my limited service.
Goes the king hence today?
He does. He did appoint so.
The night has been unruly. Where we lay, chimneys were blown down. And some say the earth was feverous and did shake. Lamentings heard in the air, strange screams of death and prophesying with accents terrible. Confused events new hatched the woeful time. Obscure bird clamoured the livelong night. Some say the earth is feverous. I know not.
'Twas a rough night.
My young remembrance cannot parallel a fellow to it.
Oh, horror! 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 What's the matter? Confusion now hath made his masterpiece. Most sacrilegious murder hath broke ope the Lord's anointed temple and stole thence the life of the builder. What is to say, the life in his majesty? Approach the chamber and destroy your sight with a new gorgon. Do not bid me speak. See and then speak yourselves. Awake, awake! Ring the alarm bell! Murder and treason! Shake off this downy sleep, death's counterfeit, and look on death itself. Up! Up and see the great doom's image! Malcolm! And Banquo, as from your graves, rise up and walk like sprites to countenance this horror!
What's the business of such a hideous trumpet call to parley the sleepers of the house? Speak! Speak!
Gentle lady, tis not for you to hear what I can speak. The repetition in a woman's ear would murder as it fell. Banquo, Banquo, our royal master is murdered!
Alas, what in our house?
Too cruel anywhere, dear. I prithee contradict thyself and say it is not so.
Had I but died an hour before this time, I had lived a blessed life. For from this instant, there's nothing serious in mortality. All is but toys. Renown and grace is dead. The wine of life is drawn, and the mere lees is left this vault to brag of.
What is amiss?
You are, I do not know. The spring, the head, the fountain of your blood is stopped. The very source of it is stopped.
Your royal father is murdered.
By whom? Those of his chamber, as it seems, had done it. Their hands and faces were all badged with blood. So were their daggers, which unlikely found upon their pillows. They stared and were distracted. No man's life was to be trusted with them.
Oh, yet I do repent me of my fury that I did kill them.
Wherefore did you so?
Who can be wise? Amazed, temperate, and furious. Loyal and neutral in a moment. No man. The expedient of my violent love outran the pause of reason. Here lay Duncan, his silver skin laced with his golden blood, and his gashed stabs looked like a breach in nature for ruin's wasteful entrance. And there, the murderers, steeped in the colours of their trade, their daggers unmanlily breached with gore. Who could refrain? That had a heart to love, and in that heart courage to make love known.
Help me hence. Oh.
Look to the lady.
Why do we hold our tongues? That most may claim this argument for ours. What should be spoken here where our fate hid in auger hole may rush and seize us? Let's away. Our tears are not yet moved.
Look to the lady. And when we have our naked frailties hid that do suffer in exposure, let us meet and question this most bloody piece of work to know it further. Fears and scruples shake us. In the great hand of God I stand, and thence against the undivulged pretense of treasonous malice
And so do I.
fight.
And so all.
Let's briefly put on manly readiness and meet in the hall together.
Welcome, thank
What will you do? Let's not consort with them. Show an unfelt sorrow is an office which the false man does easy. Out to England. There's daggers in men's smiles. The nearer in blood, the nearer bloody.
Threescore and 10 I can remember well, but in the volume of which time I have seen hours dreadful and things strange. But this sore night hath trifled former names.
Good father, thou seest the heavens as troubled with man's act threaten his bloody state. By the clock 'tis day, and yet dark night strangles the travelling lamp. Is it day's shame or the night's predominance that darkness does the face of earth entomb when living light should kiss it?
It is unnatural, even like the deed that's done. On Tuesday last, a falcon, towering in her pride of place, was by a mousing owl hawked at and killed.
And Duncan's horses, a thing most strange and certain, beauteous and swift, the minions of their race turned wild in nature, broke their stalls, flung out, contending against obedience as though make war with mankind.
It is said they eat each other.
They did so, to the amazement of mine eyes that looked upon it. Here comes the good Macbeth. How goes the world, sir, now?
Why, see you not?
Is it known who did this more than bloody deed?
Those that Macbeth hath slain.
Last day, what good could they pretend?
They were suborned. Malcolm and Donalbain, the king's two sons, are stolen away and fled, which puts upon them suspicion of the deed.
Against nature still, thriftless ambition will raven up its own life's needs. And then 'tis most like the sovereignty will fall on Macbeth.
He is already named and gone to Scone to be invested.
Where is Duncan's body?
Carried to Colmkill, the sacred storehouse of his predecessors and guardian of their bones.
Will you to Scone?
No, cousin Elderfast.
Well, I will thither.
Oh, may you see things well done there. Adieu, lest our old road sit easier than our new.
Thou hast it now. King Cawdor Glamis, all as the wed women promised, and I fear thou playedst most foully for it. And it was said that it should not stand in thy posterity, but that myself should be the root and father of many kings, if there come truth from them. And upon thee, Macbeth, their speeches shine. Why, by the verities on thee made good, may they not be my oracles as well? Set me up in hope, but hush no more.
He is our chief guest.
If he had been forgotten, it had been as a gap in our great feast, and all things unbecoming.
Tonight we hold a solemn supper, sir, and I'll request your presence.
Let your highness command upon me, to the which my services are with the most indissoluble tie forever knit.
Ride you this afternoon.
Aye, my good lord.
I should have else desired your good advice, which still hath been both grave and prosperous in this day's council. Is't far you right?
Aye, my good lord, as far as 'twill take up the time twixt this and supper. Go not my horse the better, I must become a borrower of the night for a dark hour or twain.
Fail not our feast.
My lord, I will not.
We hear our bloody cousins are bestowed in England and Ireland, not confessing their cruel parasite, filling their hearers with strange inventions. But of that tomorrow, when therewithal we shall have cause of state craving us joint. I'll hire you the horse. Adieu till you return at night. Ghosts, flails with you.
Aye, my good lord. Our time does call upon us.
I wish your horses swift and sure of foot, and so I do commend you to their backs. Farewell. Let every man be master of his time till 7 at night. To make society the sweeter welcome, we will keep ourselves till supper time alone. While then, God be with you. Sirrah, a word with you. Tend those men our pleasure.
They do, my lord.
Bring them forth. To be thus is nothing, but to be safely thus, our fears in Banquo stick deep, and in his royalty of nature reigns that which would be feared. 'Tis much he dares. And to that dauntless temper of his mind he hath a wisdom that doth guide his valour to act in safety. There is none but he whose being I do fear, and under him my genius is rebuked. He chid the sisters, when first they put the name of king upon me, and bade them speak to him. Then, prophet-like, they hailed him father to a line of kings. Upon my head they placed a fruitless crown, and put a barren sceptre in my gripe, thence to be wrenched with an unlineal hand, no son of mine succeeding. If it be so, for Banquo's issue have I filed my mind. For them, the gracious Duncan, have I murdered, put rancours in the vessel of my peace, only for them. And mine eternal jewel, given to the common enemy of man, to make them kings, the seeds of Banquo, kings. Rather than so, come, fate, into the list, and champion me to the utterance. Who's there? Now go to the door and stay there till we call. Was it not yesterday we spoke together?
It was, so please your highness.
We are men, my liege.
I in catalogue ye go for men, as hounds and greyhounds, mongrels, spaniels, curs, choughs, water rats, and demi-wolves are clept all by the name of dogs. The valued file distinguishes the swift, the slow, the subtle, the housekeeper, the hunter. Every one according to the gift which bounteous nature hath in him closed, whereby he does receive particular addition from the bill that writes them all alike. And so of men. Now, if you have a station in the file, not in the worst rank of manhood, say it, and I will put that business in your bosoms, whose execution takes your enemy off, grapples you to the heart and love of us who wear our health but sickly in his life, which in his death were perfect.
I am one, my liege, whom the vile blows and buffets of this world hath so incensed that I am reckless what I do to spite the world.
And I another, so wearied with disaster, tugged with fortune, that I would set my life on any chance to mend it or be rid of it.
Both of you know, Banquo was your enemy.
True, my lord.
So is he mine. And in such bloody distance that every minute of his being thrusts against my nearest of life. And though I could, with barefaced power, sweep him from my sight and bid my will avouch it, yet I must not. For certain friends that are both his and mine, whose loves I may not drop, but wail his fall, till I myself struck down.
We shall, my lord, perform what you command us.
No our
Your
lives.
spirits shine through you. I will advise you where to plant yourselves. Acquaint you with the perfect spy of the time, the moment of what must be done tonight, and something from the palace. Always thought that I require clear. And with him, to leave no rubs nor botches in the work, Fleance, his son that keeps his company, whose absence is no less material to me than his father's, must embrace the fate of that dark hour. Resolve yourselves apart, or come to your knot.
We are resolved, my lord.
Calling on you straight, abide within. It is concluded. Banquo, thy soul's flight find heaven must find it out tonight.
Is Banquo gone from court?
Aye, madam. Returns again tonight.
Say to the king I will attend his leisure for a few words.
Madam, I will.
Sad. All spent where our desire is got without content. 'Tis safer to be that which we destroy than by destruction dwell in doubtful joy. Oh now, my lord, why do you keep alone? The sorriest fancies your companions making, using those thoughts which should indeed be died with them they think on. Things without remedy should be without regard. What's done is done.
We have scorched the snake, not killed. She'll close and be herself, whilst our poor malice remains in danger of her fortitude. But let the frame of things disjoint. Both the worlds suffer, and we will eat our meal and sleep in the affliction of these terrible dreams that shake us now. Better be with the dead, than we to gain our freedom, and on the torture of the mind to lie in restless ecstasy. Duncan is in his grave. After life's fitful fever, he sleeps well. Treason has done his worst, nor steel nor poison. Malice domestic, foreign levy, nothing can touch him further.
Come on, gentle, my lord. Sleek o'er your rugged looks, be bright and jovial among your guests tonight.
So shall I. And so, I pray, be you. Let your remembrance apply to Banquo. Present him eminence both with eye and tongue, unsafe the while that we must lave our honours in these flattering streams and make our faces visitors to our hearts, disguising what they are.
You must leave this.
Oh, full of scorpions is my mind, dear one. Thou knowest that Banquo and his flails lives.
Isn't nature's copy not in turn?
Let us come. They are assailed. Then be thou jocund. Ere the bat that flown is close to thee. Ere to black Hecate's summons the shard-born beetle with his drowsy hums hath run night's yawning peal. There shall be done a deed dreadful.
What is to be done?
The innocent, the knowledge dearest child, till thou prove the deed. Come, sealing now, scarf up the tender eye of pitiful day, and with thy bloody and invisible hand cancel and tear to pieces that great bond that keeps me pale. Light thicken, and the crow makes wing to the rooky wolf. Good things of day begin to droop and drowse, while night's black ages to their prey do rouse. Thou marvelst at my words, and hold thee still. Things bad begun make strong themselves by ill. So, prithee, go with me.
near approaches the subject of our watch.
Hark! I hear footfall.
Give us a light there, ho!
It is he. That are within the note of expectation already are in the court. His horses go about.
Almost a mile. But he does so usually, so all men do. From hence to the palace gate, make it their walk.
The light. The light.
Tis he.
Sound it.
It will rain tonight.
Let it come down.
Oh, treachery! Fly to flails! Fly, fly! Hermes revenge! Oh, Sla!
Who did strike out the light?
What's not the way?
Ah, there's but one down, the sun is fled! We've lost the best half of our affair.
Well, let's away and say how much is done.
You know your own degrees. Sit down. First and last, a hearty welcome.
Thanks, Your Majesty.
Ourself will mingle with society and play the humble host. Our hostess keeps her state, but in best time we will require her welcome.
Pronounce it for me, sir, to all our friends. My heart speaks they are welcome.
Cheers.
See, may encounter thee with their heart's thanks. Both sides are even. Here, I'll sit in the midst. Be large in mirth, or none will drink a measure the table round. There's blood upon my face.
It is Banquo's then.
'Tis better thee without than he within. Is he dispatched?
Aye, my lord, his throat is cut. I did for him.
Thou the best for the cutthroat. Yet he's good that did the like to play. If thou didst it, thou art the non-parade.
Most royal sir, Fleance is scaped.
Then comes my fit again. I had else been perfect. Old as the marble, founded as the rock, as broad and general as the casing air, but now I am cabined, cribbed, confined, bound into saucy doubts and fears. But Banquo's safe.
Oh, aye, my good lord. Safe in a ditch he lies, with 20 trenched gashes in his head.
Next. There the grown serpent lies. The worm that's fled hath nature that in time will venom bring no teeth to the prison. There he gone. Tomorrow we'll hear ourselves again.
My royal lord, you do not give the cheer. The feast is soul that is not often vouched while 'tis a making, given with welcome. To feed were best at home, from thence the source to meat is ceremony. Eating were better at it.
Sweet remembered, sir. Now, good digestion wait on appetite, and health on both.
May it please your highness. Sit.
Here, had we now our country's honour roofed for the graced person of our Banquo present, whom may I rather challenge for unkindness than pity for mischance.
His absence, sir, lays a blame upon his promise. It please your highness to grace us with its royal company.
Well, the table is full.
Here is a place reserved, sir.
Where?
Oh, here, my lord. What is it that moves your highness?
Which of you have done this?
What, my good lord?
Thou canst not say I did it. Never shake thy glory looks at me!
Gentlemen, rise. His highness is not
Sit
well.
down, worthy friends. My lord is often thus and hath been from his youth. Pray you keep seats. The fit is momentary. Upon a thought he shall again be well. Give much note him, you shall fend him and extend his passion. Feed and regard him not, as you are man.
Let a bold one that dare look on that which might appall the devil.
Proper stuff. This is the very painting of your fear. This is the air-drawn dagger which you said led you to Duncan. These flaws and stars, impostors to true fear, would well become a woman's story at a winter's fire, authorized by her granddad. Why do you make such faces? When all's done, you look but on a stool.
since 2 murders have been performed, too terrible for the ear. The time has been that when the brains were out, the man would die, and there and then. Oh, but now they rise again with 20 mortal murders on their crowns and push us from our stools. Oh, this is more strange than such a murder is.
Worthy lord, your noble friend is to lack you.
I do forget. Do not muse at me, my most worthy friends. I have a strange infirmity, which is nothing to those that know me. Come. Love and health to all. Then I'll sit down. Give me some wine. Fill full. I drink to the general joy of the whole table, and to our dear friend Banquo, whom we miss. Would he were here. To all, and him we thirst, and all to all.
Our duties and pledge.
Our duties and the pledge.
Avaunt! And quit my sight! Let the earth hide thee! Thy bones are marrowless, thy blood is cold. Thou hast no speculation in those eyes which thou dost glare with.
Think of this, good peers, but as a thing of custom. 'Tis no other. Only it spoils the pleasure of the time.
What man dare I dare? Approach now, like the rugged Russian bear, the armed rhinoceros with the hair-can tiger. Take any shape but that, and my firm nerves shall never tremble. Or be alive again, and dare me to the desert with thy sword. If trembling I inhabit then, protest me the baby of a girl. Hence, horrible children, unreal mockery, hence. My son, being gone, I am a man again. Pray you sit still.
You have displaced the mirth, broke the good meeting with most admired disorder.
And such things be, and overcome us like a summer's cloud, without our special wonder. You make me strange, even to the disposition that I own. When now I think you can behold such sight, and keep the natural ruby of your cheeks when mine is blanched with fear.
What sights, my lord?
It grows worse and worse. Question enrages him. At once, good night. Stand not upon the order of your going, but go at once.
Good night, and better health attend his majesty.
Kind good night.
Will have blood. Blood will have blood. Stones have been known to move, and trees to speak. Augurs and understood relations have by maggot pies and chops and rooks brought forth the secretest man of blood. What is the matter?
Most who told good morning, which is which.
How say'st thou that Macduff denies his person at our great bidding?
Did you send to him, sir?
I hear it by the way, but I will send it. There's not a one of them but in his house I keep a servant feed. I will tomorrow. And betimes I will to the wayed sisters. More shall they speak. For now I am bent to know by the worst means the worst. For mine own good all causes shall give way. I am in blood, stepped in so far, that should I wade no more, returning were as tedious as going. Strange things I have in head, will to hand, which must be acted ere they may be scanned.
Lack the season of all days. Sleep.
Come. Will to see. This, my strange and self-abuse, is the initiate fear that once hard used. We are yet but young indeed.
Thrice the brindled cat mewed.
Thrice as once the hedge with wine.
Harpier cries. "'Tis time, 'tis time." Round about the cauldron go, in the poisoned entrails throw. Toad that under cold stone days and nights has 31, sweltered then, sleeped and got, boiled our first in charmed pot. Double, double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble.
Fillet of a fenny snake,
In the cauldron boil and bake.
eye of meat and toe of frog, wool of bat and tongue of dog,
Adder squawk and blindworm's
sting, lizard's leg and howlet's wing,
for a charm of powerful
trouble, like a hell broth, boil and bubble. Double, double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble. Scale of dragon, tooth of gold, witch's money, moor and gulf of the rabid salt sea shark. Root of hemlock, digged in the dark, liver of blaspheming Jew, gall of goat, slips of yew, silver in the moon's eclipse, nose of Turk and Tartar's lips, finger of a birth-strangled babe, ditched in the fire drab, makes the gruel thick and slab. Add thereto a tiger's children, for the ingredients of our cauldron. Double, double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble. Cool it with raven's blood, then the charm is firm and good.
By the pricking of my thumb, something wicked this way comes. Open locks, whoever knocks.
How now, you secret, black and midnight hags, what is't you do?
A deed without name.
I conjure you, by that which you profess, howe'er you come to know it, answer me. Though you untie the winds and let them fight against the churches, though the yeasty waves confound and swallow navigation up, though bladed corn be lodged and trees blown down, though castles topple on their warders' heads, though palaces and pyramids do slope their heads to their foundations, though the treasure of nature's germ and tumble all together, even till destruction sicken, answer me to what I ask you.
Speak demand.
We'll answer, saying we'd rather hear it from our mouth, or from our master.
Call. Let me see it.
Poor in Salzburg, that hath eaten her 9,000. Greece, sweating murderers gibbet, thrown into flame.
Come high or low, thyself and office deftly show.
Tell me, thou unknown power,
He knows thy thought. Hear his speech, but say thou not.
Macbeth! Beware the dove!
whate'er thou art, for thy good caution, thanks. For thou hast harped my fear aright. But one word more.
He will not be commanded. He is another more potent than the first.
Had I 3 ears, I'd hear thee. Well, then live, Macduff. What need I fear of thee? But yet I'll make assurance double sure, and take a bond of fate. Thou shalt not live, that I may tell pale-hearted fear it lies, and sleep in spite of thunder. What wind that rises like the issue of a king, and wears upon his baby brow the rounded top of sovereignty.
Listen, but speak not to it.
Be lion-mettled, proud, and take no care who chafes, who frets, or where the spirers are. Macbeth shall never vanquished be, until great Burnham Wood to high Dudson and Hill shall come against him.
That will never be! Who can impress the forest? Bid the tree unfix his earthbound root. Sweet Bowman's good, rebellious dead, rise never till the wood of Burnham rise, and our high-placed Macbeth shall live the lease of nature, pay his breath to time and mortal custom. Yet my heart throbs to know one thing. Tell me, if your art can tell so much, shall banquet
the way it sits?
No, my lord.
Came them not by?
No, indeed, my lord.
Then infected with the air whereon they ride, and damned all those that trust them. I did hear the galloping of horse, who was't came by.
'Tis 2 or 3, my lord, that bring me word Macduff is fled to England.
Fled to England.
Aye, my good lord.
Thou anticipatest my dread exploit, and the flighty purpose never is o'ertook unless the deed go with it. From this moment, the very firstlings of my heart shall be the firstlings of my hand. And even now, to crown my thoughts with acts, be it thought and done, the castle of Macduff I will surprise. Seize upon Fife, give to the edge of the sword his wife, his babes, and all unfortunate souls that trace him in his line. No boasting like a fool, this deed I'll do before this purpose cool. But no more sights. Where are these gentlemen? Come, bring me where they are.
What hath he done to make him fly the land?
You must have patience, madam.
He had none.
I am so much a fool. Should I stay longer, it would be my disgrace and your discomfort. I take my leave at once.
Sarah, your father's dead. And what will you do now? How will you live?
Is my father a traitor?
I am a duck was.
What is a traitor?
Why, one that swears and lies.
And be all traitors that do so?
Everyone that does so is a traitor and must be hanged.
And must all be hanged that swear and lie?
Everyone.
Why, you must hang them.
Why, the honest men.
Well, then the swearers and liars are fools, for there are enough of them to take the honest men and hang up them.
God help thee, poor monkey.
Where is your husband?
I hope in no place so unsanctified as such as thou mayst find him. No, no, no!
Let us seek out some desolate shade, and there weep our sad bosoms empty.
Let us rather hold fast the mortal sword, and like good men bestride our downfall birthday. Each new morn, new widows howl, new orphans cry, new sorrows strike heaven on the face that it resounds as if it felt with Scotland, and yelled out with syllable of dolour.
What I believe I'll wail, what no believe and what I can redress, as I shall find the time to friend, I will. What you have spoke, it may be so perchance. This tyrant, whose sole name blisters our tongues, was once thought honest. You have loved him well. He hath not touched you yet. I am young, but something you may discern of him through me, and wisdom to offer up a weak, poor, innocent lamb to appease a vengeful god.
I am not treacherous!
But Macbeth is. A good and virtuous nature may recoil in an imperial charge, but I shall crave your pardon. That which you are, my thoughts cannot transpose. Angels are bright still, though the brightest fell. Though all things foul must wear the brows of grace, yet grace must still look so.
I've lost my hopes.
Perchance even there where I did find my doubts. Why in that rawness left you wife and child, those precious motives, those strong knots of love, without leave taking? I pray you, let not my jealousies be your dishonours, but mine own safeties. You may be rightly just, whatever I shall think.
Bleed, poor country. Great tyranny, lay thou thy basest shore, for goodness dare not check thee. Where thou thy wrong, the title is clear. Fare thee well, Lord. I would not be the villain that thou thinkst, for the whole space that's in the tyrant's grasp, and the rich east to boot.
Be not offended. I speak not as in absolute fear of you. I think our country sinks beneath the yoke. It weeps, it bleeds, and each new day a gash is added to her wounds. I think withal there would be hands uplifted in my right, and here, from gracious England, have I offered of goodly thousands. But for all this,
when I shall tread upon the tyrant's head, or wear it on my sword. Yet my poor country shall have more vices than it had before, more suffer and more sundry ways than ever by him that shall succeed.
What should he be?
It is myself, I mean, in whom I know all the particulars of vice, so grafted that when they shall be opened, black Macbeth will seem as pure as snow, and the poor state esteem him as a lamb being compared with my confineless heart.
Not in the legions of horrid hell can come a devil more damned and evil to top Macbeth.
I grant him bloody, luxurious, avaricious, false, deceitful, sudden, malicious, smacking of every sin that has a name, but there's no bottom, none, in my voluptuousness. Your wives, your daughters, your matrons, and your maids could not fill up a cistern of my lust, and my desire all continent impediments would o'erbear that did oppose my will. Better Macbeth than such a one to reign.
Boundless intemperance in nature is a tyranny. It hath been the untimely emptying of the happy throne and fall of many kings, but fear not yet to take upon you what is yours. You may convey your pleasures in a spacious plenty and yet seem cold. The time you may so put with. We have willing dames enough. There cannot be that vulture in you to devour so many as will to greatness dedicate themselves, finding it so inclined.
With this there grows in my most ill-composed affection such a staunchless avarice that were I king, I should cut off the nobles for their lands, desire his jewels and this other's house, and my more having would be as a source to make me hunger more, forging quarrels unjust against the good and loyal, destroying them for wealth.
This avarice sticks deeper, grows with more pernicious root than summer seeming lust, and it hath been the sword of our slain kings. But fear not yet that Scotland hath foisons to fill up your will of your mere own. All of these are portable, with other graces weighed.
But I have none. The king becoming graces as justice, verity, temperance, stableness, mercy, perseverance, bounty, lowliness, devotion, patience, courage, fortitude. I have no relish of them, but abound in the division of each several crime, acting it many ways. Nay, had I power, I should pour the sweet milk of concord into hell, uproar the universal peace, confound all unity on earth.
Oh, Scotland. Scotland.
If such a one be fit to govern, speak. I am as I have spoken.
Fit to govern. No, not fit to live! Oh, nation miserable with an untitled tyrant, bloody sceptred, when shalt thou see thy wholesome days again, since that the truest issue of thy throne by his own interdiction stands accursed, and does blaspheme his breed? Thy royal father was a most sainted king. The queen that bore thee, oftener upon her knees than on her feet, died every day she lived. Fare thee well. These evils thou repeatest upon thyself have banished me from Scotland. While I rest, thy hope ends here.
Macduff, this noble passion, child of integrity, hath from my soul wiped the black scruples, reconciled my thoughts to thy good truth and honour. Devilish Macbeth, by many of these trains hath sought to win me into his power, and modest wisdom plucks me from over-credulous feats. But God above deal between thee and me, for even now I put myself to thy direction, and unspeak mine own detraction. Here abjure the taints and blames I laid upon myself, the strangers to my nature. I am yet unknown to woman, never was forsworn, have scarcely coveted what was mine own, at no time broke my faith, would not betray the devil to his fellow, and delight no less in truth than life. My first false speaking was this, upon myself. What I am truly is thine, and my poor country's to command. Whither indeed, before thy heir approach,
Young Seward, with 10,000 warlike men already at a point, was setting forth. Now, we'll turn together, and the chance of goodness be like our warranted quarrel. Why are you silent?
Such welcome and unwelcome things at once. 'Tis hard to reconcile.
See who comes here. My countryman, but yet I know him not.
My gentle cousin, welcome hither.
I know him now. Good God, the times remove the means that make us strangers.
Sir, amen.
Stand Scotland where it did.
Alas, poor country, almost afraid to know itself. It cannot be called our mother, but our grave, where nothing but who knows nothing is once seen to smile. Where sighs and shrieks and groans that rend the air are made not marked. A violent sorrow seems a modern ecstasy. There the dead man's knell is scarce art and salute. The good men's lives expire before the flowers in their caps, dying or ere they sick. Our relation, too nice, and yet too true.
What's the newest grief?
That with an hour's age doth hiss the speaker. Each minute teems a new one.
How does my wife?
Why, well.
And all my children?
Well, too.
The tyrant hath not battered at their peace.
No, they were well at peace when I did leave them.
Be not a niggard of your speech, how goes it?
When I came hither to transport the tidings which I have heavily borne, there ran a rumour of many worthy fellows that were out, which was to my belief witness the rather for that I saw the tyrant's power afoot. Now is the time of help. Your eye in Scotland would create soldiers, make our women fight to doff their dire distresses.
Be it their comfort, we are coming thither. Gracious England hath lent us Seward, a better and wiser soldier none that Christendom gives out.
Would I could answer this comfort with the like. But I have words which should be howled out in the desert air where hearing could not latch.
What concerns them? The general cause, or is it a fee grief due to some single breast?
No mind that's honest, but in it bears some woe, though the main part pertains to you alone.
If it be mine, keep it not from me quickly, let me have it.
Then not your ears, despite my tongue forever, which shall possess them with the heaviest sound that ever yet they heard. Guess it is. Your castle is surprised. Your wife and children savagely slaughtered. To relate the manner were on the quarry of these murdered deer to add the death of you.
Merciful heaven. What man? Ne'er pull your hat upon your grapples. Give sorrow words. The grief that does not speak whispers the earth-fraught heart and bids it break.
My children too.
Wife, children, servants, all that could be found.
And I must be from thence. My wife killed too.
I have said.
Be comforted. Let's make us medicines of our greatest revenge to cure this deadly grief.
He has no children! What, all my pretty ones? Didst thou say all? Oh, hell, great! All, what, all my pretty chickens and their dam at one fell swoop?
Dispute it like a man.
I shall do so. But first, I must also feel it like a man. I cannot but remember things that were most precious to me. Did heaven look on and would not take their part? Sinful Macduff, they were all struck for thee. Not that I am, not for their own demerit, but for mine fell slaughter on their souls. Heaven rest them now.
Be this the whetstone of your sword. Let grief convert to anger. Blunt not the heart, enrage it.
I could play the woman with mine eyes and braggart with my tongue. But gentle heavens, cut short all intermission. Front to front, bring thou this fiend of Scotland and myself. Within my sword's length set him. If he scape, heaven forgive him too.
This tune goes manly. Come, we go to the king. Our power is ready. Our lack is nothing but our leave. Macbeth is ripe for shaking. and the powers above put on their instruments. Receive what cheer you may. The night is long that never finds the day.
I have for 2 nights watched with you, but can perceive no truth in your report.
When was it last she walked?
Since His Majesty went into the field, I have seen her rise from her bed, throw her nightgown upon her, unlock her closet, take forth paper, fold it, write upon it, read it, afterwards seal it, and again return to bed, all the while in most fast sleep.
Great perturbation in nature. To receive at once the benefit of sleep and do the effects of watching. Besides her walking and any other actual performances, what at any time have you heard her say?
That, sir, which I will not report after.
It may to me. It is most meet you should.
Neither to you nor anyone, having no witness to confirm my speech. Lo you, here she comes. This is her very guise. Upon my life, fast asleep. Observe her. Stand close.
How came she by that light?
Why it stood by her. She is light by her continually, 'tis her command.
And you see her eyes are open.
Aye, but their sense are shut.
What is it she does now? Look how she rubs her hands.
It is an accustomed action with her. To seem thus washing her hands, I have known her continue in this a quarter of an hour. It is a spot. Out. Damned spot. Out, I say. Why then 'tis time to do it. Hell is murky. Fine, my lord, fine. A soldier and a fiend. Need we fear who knows it when none can hold our power to account? Who would have thought the old man to have had so much blood in him?
You mark that.
The Thane of Fife had a wife. Where is she now? Will these hands never be clean? No more of that, my lord. No more of that. We mar all with this starting.
Go to. You have known what you should not.
She has spoke what she should not, I am sure of that. Heaven knows what she has known. Here's the smell of the blood still. Not all the perfumes of Arabia will sweet this little hand.
The sighs there, the heart is sorely changed.
I would not have such a heart in my bosom for the dignity of the entire body.
Well.
Pray God it be, sir.
This disease is far beyond my practice. Yet I have known those who have walked in their sleep and died holily in their beds.
Lift your hand. Put on your nightgown. Look ye not so pale. I tell you again, Banquo's buried. He cannot come out from his grave.
Even so.
To bed. To bed. There's a knocking at the gate. Come, give me your hand. Don't knock
deeds do breed unnatural troubles. Infected minds to their deaf pillows will discharge their secrets. God forgive us all. Or need she the divine in the physician? Look after her. Remove from her the means of all annoyance, and still keep eyes upon her. So, good night. My mind she has mated, maced my sight. I think, but cannot speak.
Good night, good doctor.
The English power is near. Led on by Malcolm, his cousin Seward and the good Macduff. Revenges burn within them, for their dear causes which the bleeding and grim alarm excite the mortified.
What does the tyrant?
Great Dunsinane he strongly fortifies. Some say he's mad, others that lesser hate him do call it valiant fury, but for certain he cannot buckle his distempered cause within the belt of rule. Now does he feel his secret murder sticking on his hands. Those he commands move only in command, nothing in love. Now does he feel his title hang loose about him, like a giant's robe upon a dwarfish thief.
Who then shall blame his pestered senses to recoil and start, when all that is within him doth condemn itself for being there?
Well, we march on to obedience where 'tis truly owed. Meet we the medicine of our sickly weal, and with him pour we in our country's purge, each drop of us, or as much as it needs to dew the sovereign flower and drown the weeds. Make we our march to burn.
Bring me no more reports. Let them fly all, till Burnham Wood remove the Dunsinane I cannot take with fear. What's the boy, Malcolm? Was he not born of woman? The spirits that have pronounced all mortal consequences have pronounced me thus. Fear not, Macbeth. No man that's born of woman shall e'er have power upon thee. And fly, false things, and mingle with the English epicures. The mind I sway by and the heart I bear shall never sag with doubt, nor shake with fear.
There is 10,000
Geese, villain!
soldiers, sir.
Girl, crook thy face and overread thy fear, thou lily-livered boy. What soldiers patch the death of thy soul, with those linen cheeks of thine counsels to fear? What soldiers, wave face?
The English force, so easy.
Take thy face hence. See, I am sick at heart when I behold. Seaton, I say! This push will cheer me ever, or disseat me now. I have lived long enough. My way of life is fallen into the seer, and that which should accompany old age as honor, love, obedience, troops of friends, I must not look to have, but in their stead, curses, not loud, deep, mouth honor, breath which the poor heart would fain deny and dare not. Seaton!
What's your gracious pleasure?
What news more?
What was confirmed, my lord, which was reported.
I'll fight till from my bones my flesh be happy. Give me my armor.
It is not needed yet.
I'll put it on. Send out more horses. Scour the country round. Hang those that talk of fear. Give me mine armor. How does your patient, doctor?
Not so sick, my lord. and she is troubled with thick-coming fancies that do keep her from rest.
Cure her of that. Canst thou not minister to a mind diseased? Pluck from the memory a rooted sorrow and raise out the written troubles of the brain, and with some sweet, oblivious antidote cleanse the stuffed bosom of that perilous stuff which weighs upon the heart.
Therein the patient must minister to himself.
Throw physic to the dogs. I'll have none of it. Come, put thine armour on, give me my staff. Come, sir, dispatch. If thou couldst, doctor, cast the water of my land, find her disease, and purge it to a sound and pristine health, I would applaud thee to the very echo, should applaud again. Or pulled off, I say. I will not be afraid of death and bane, till Burnham Forest come to Dunsinane.
Cousins, I hope the days are near at hand and chambers will be safe.
We doubt it not.
What is this wood before us?
The wood of Burnham.
Let every soldier hew him down a bough and bear it before him. Thereby shall we shadow the number of our host and make discovery ere and report us.
Shall be done.
We learn no other but the confident tyrant keeps still in Dunsinane and will endure our setting down before.
'Tis his main hope. For where there is advantage to be given, both more and less have given him the revolt, and none serve with him but constrained things whose hearts are absent too.
Let our just censures attend the true event, and put we on industrious soldiership.
The time approaches that will with due decision make us know what we shall say we have and what we owe. Thoughts speculative their unsure hopes relate, but certain issues strokes must arbitrate. Towards which, advance the war.
Hang our banners on the outward walls. The cry is still they come. Our castle's strength will laugh a siege to scorn. Here, let them lie till famine and the ague eat them up. Were they not forced with those that should be ours, we might have met them dareful, beard to beard, and beat them backward home. What is that noise?
It is the cry of women, my good lord.
I have almost forgot the taste of fear. The time as being my senses would have cooled to hear a night shriek, and my fell of hair would at a dismal treatise rouse and stir as life were in. I have supped full with horrors. Direness familiar to my slaughterous thoughts cannot once start me. Wherefore was that cry?
The queen, my lord, is dead.
She should have died hereafter. There would have been a word for such a time. Tomorrow. And tomorrow. And tomorrow. Creeps in this petty place from day to day to the last syllable of recorded tale. And all our yesterdays have lighted fools the weight of dusty death. Out. Brief candle. Life's but a walking shadow. A poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying thou comest to use thy tongue, thy story quickly.
Gracious my lord, I should report that which I say I saw, but know not how to do it.
Well, say, sir.
As I did stand my watch upon the hill, I looked toward Burnham, and anon methought the wood began to move.
Lion slave!
Let me endure your wrath, if it be not so. Within this 3 mile may you see it coming, I say, a moving grove.
If thou speakst false, upon the next tree shall thou hang alive till famine cling thee. If thy speech be sooth, I care not about this thing. I pull in resolution and begin to doubt the equivocation of that fiend that lies like truth. Fear not till Burnham wood do come to Dunsinane. And now a wood comes towards Dunsinane. Arm! Arm and out! If this which here vouches does appear, there is no flying hence nor tarrying here. I begin to be aweary of the sun, and wish the estate of the world were now undone. Ring the alarum bell, blow wind, come rack, at least we'll die with harness on our back.
Now! Near enough. Your leafy screens throw down and show like those you are. You, worthy cousins, lead our first battle. Worthy Macduff and we shall take upon what else remains to do, according to our order.
Fairly well. Do we but find the tyrant's power out tonight? Let us be beaten if we cannot fight.
Let all our trumpets speak! Give them all breath! Those clamorous harbingers of blood and death.
They have tied me to a stake. I cannot fly, but bear-like I must fight the course. What's he that was not born of woman? Such a one am I to fear or none.
What is thy name?
Thou'lt be afraid to hear it.
No. Though thou calls thyself a hotter name than any is in hell.
My name's Macbeth.
The devil himself could not pronounce a title more difficult to mine ear.
No. No more fearful.
Thou last of our tyrant. With my sword I'll prove the lie thou speakst.
Laugh to scorn, brandished by man, it's of a woman born.
That way the noise is tyrant, show my face! If thou beest slain, and with no stroke of mine my wife and children's ghosts will haunt me still, I cannot strike at wretched kerns whose arms are hired to bear their staves. Either thou, Macbeth, or else my sword with an unbattered edge I sheathe again undeeded. There thou shouldst be. By this great noise one of greatest notes is fruited. Let me find him fortune, and more I beg not.
Why should I play the Roman fool and die on mine own sword? While I see lives, the gashes do better upon them.
Turn, hellhound, turn.
Of all men else, I have avoided thee. But get thee back, for my soul is too much charged with blood of thine already.
I have no words. My voice is in my sword. Thou bloodier villain than terms can give thee out.
Thou losest labor. As easy mayst thou with thy keen sword the entrenchant air impress as make me bleed. Let thy blade fall on vulnerable crests. I bear a charmed life, which must not yield to one of woman born.
Despair thy charm, and let the angel whom thou still hast served tell thee Macduff was from his mother's womb untimely ripped.
Cursed is that tongue which tells me so, for it hath cowed my better part of man. And be these juggling fiends no more believed, that palter with us in a double sense, that keep the word of promise to our ear and break it to our hope. I'll not fight with thee.
Then yield thee, coward, and live to be the show and gaze of the time. We'll have thee, as our rarer monsters are, painted upon a pole, and under it, here may you see the time.
I will not yield to kiss the ground before young Malcolm's feet, and to be baited with a rabble's curse. Though Burnham wood be come to Dunsinane, and thou opposed being of no woman born, yet I will try the last. Before my body I throw my warlike shield. Lay on, Macduff, and damn to be him that first cries hold enough.
friends we missed were safe arrived. Some must go off. Yet by these I see so great a day as this was cheaply bought.
stuff is missing. And your noble son.
Why then God's soldier be he. Had I as many sons as I have hairs, I would not wish him to a nobler death. And so is Nella's Nor.
He's worth more sorrow, and that I'll spend.
He's worth no more. They say he parted well and paid his score, and so God be with him. Here comes new comfort.
Hail, King! So thou art. Behold where stands the usurper's cursed head. The time is free. I see thee compassed with thy kingdom's pearl, and speak their salutations in my mind, whose voices I desire aloud with mine. Hail, King of Scotland! Hail, King of Scotland!
So thank you so much again for having us. We've had a great time. We hope you guys have as well. Thank you.